Hi, welcome to the Get Local podcast. I'm Joanne Fowler, your host for today, where we meet with local business owners and we have real, relevant, and resourceful conversations with your local entrepreneurs. So today we have in the studio, we are at 864 Sound Studio here in Greenville. We're so excited to be here. And I'm also excited to have Cristi Florence, the owner of Sweet Southern Gals, who's here to talk to us a little bit today about her business. So welcome, Cristi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, Cristi, what we do with our Get Local podcast is we bring in some of the local businesses who may not be on the stage of every platform here in the upstate, because we feel like we want our community to know about everybody who's here, not just the same 10 or 12 people that you see all the time. So I'm real excited to have you here as Sweet Southern Gals. I don't know a whole lot about you, and I'm sure our listeners don't either. So tell me a little bit about who Sweet Southern Gals is.
Well, Sweet Southern Gals is a local boutique. We are online only right now, but we love to sell to those women around here that want to look good and stay up to date on the fashions without spending a whole bunch of money. Because as women, we want to look good, but we don't want to spend a lot of money.
Right, I hear you. So you guys are just online
right now? Yes, we were. Brick and mortar. We've just recently decided to change to online only, but hopes to hopefully go brick and mortar soon here in the area.
Okay, so how long has Sweet Southern Gals been around?
We've been in business for 5 years.
For 5 years. So you were brick and mortar and you decided to go online.
Correct.
So were there any challenges with doing that, or did you find that was an easy transition in the world today?
It has definitely not been easy in the world today in general. I think it's hard to start a business. However, I think going from brick and mortar to online, you're reaching different clientele. A lot of women like to try on clothes. A lot of people like to touch it and feel it. Your younger generation obviously likes to shop online. That's the new thing. Everybody wants to be online. Everybody wants to go on and get the quick, easy access of it. So there has been some challenges with that. But, we recently were in the Rock Hill area. We also sold to the Greenville area, but we were in the Rock Hill area and decided to move to Greenville. Multiple reasons for that. But in doing so, we decided, let's try the online. Let's try to build that status quo, so to speak, of being able to sell online. And then we'll open up here in the Greenville area and try to remarket there.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about what was some of the challenges for your shoppers? Because you said it was a bit of a challenge to go from brick and mortar to online. So what did you find with some of the challenges with your shoppers?
I think the biggest challenge is that they, obviously they want to try clothes on. I know for me, I'm tall, but I have a small waist. And so I have a hard time. I don't think they'd make clothes for normal people because I consider myself to be abnormal, but whatever, I'm normal too. But I think that they don't make clothes the same. Every brand has a different meaning and a different size for what a size quote unquote 6 would be or 22. So I think the biggest challenge going from brick and mortar to online is that people don't have that access to be able to try things on. And that's been really difficult. But we do offer, we try to purchase some things online and bring it into the home where I'm at right now and try to show, I'm typically a size 6 and I can wear a size 6. Or, someone who's a friend will come over and help us try on some plus size clothes so that it kind of gives them a different feel of how things actually look and feel, which has helped, but it's still a challenge.
Now, you mentioned something, you said a size 6 and then you said someone who was plus. So what size clothes do you guys sell?
We do anything from a 0 to, I think the highest we go up is a 5X even. Not every size or not every option of clothes has the sizes, but we give multiple options for different vendors and for different styles for everyone out there. So, going from 0, there's not a lot of adults that are 0, although there are, hits kind of the younger crowd. And then you have some of the plus sides that, sometimes the older women, as we get older, we gain the weight and that's okay. But, we give the option to have any size and shape and color of size women who want to look and feel good, which is all of us, have the option of shopping with us.
So what age group would you say predominantly likes to shop online, that it's just real easy for them?
I think that your teens, obviously, I have a 16-year-old daughter and she is shopping online all the time. So I think you're, around 16 to probably 27, 28. Most of of the older generations after that start to want to touch and feel. But your 16 to 28, 29s are probably going to be the ones that are looking online.
Well, I myself have started shopping a lot online for clothing, and you can go to a lot of these stores, particularly like, let's just use Amazon for instance. So when you go to Amazon, if you don't like something, you just send it back.
Yes.
So you said shoppers may struggle a little bit with the sizing. How do you overcome that? Do you just say if it doesn't fit, you send it back, or how do you overcome that challenge?
We have a very easy and simple return policy. If it doesn't fit, you don't like it, you're not happy with the way that it fits, we want you to return it. We want you to send it back. And so we've got a very easy process for that. You just contact us and let us know. We send you the information, you send it back, and either you can get a full refund, or we will allow you to go online and shop for something different. Sometimes, again, if you get something and it's just a size issue, size 6 didn't work, you got to go up or down, and you just reorder what you like in the same style, just in a different size. So our return policy being very easy and basically, like I said, if you're not 100% satisfied, send it back. I think has made it a lot easier too.
So your styles for a 16-year-old to a 60-year-old are going to be very different. How do y'all manage to have all those different styles on your site?
We've got tons of vendors that we are associated with, and we are able, through our programs that we go on to, that we're able to pick from so many different vendors. So I am constantly on daily, where I go on and I look at all these different styles and shapes, and, excuse me, staying on top of the styles and the fashions is important. So reading up on things and making sure that I know what colors are hot and, what's not so hot anymore. Leopard is always in style. So for every shape, size, and color. So, just trying to make sure that you're staying on top of things, and then trying to make sure that you're looking and hitting both of those. With having all those options of vendors makes it so much easier to do that.
Well, you also mentioned that, you're a size 6, or someone who's a size 6 could wear a 6 in one style, but maybe not in another. So if I'm shopping your site, how do I know what size I need to get?
We have on almost all of our vendors. We are still working on trying to go in. Some of our vendors are not as easy to get those styles put into sizes, but we do have a size chart that is on there, and we recommend, obviously, measure yourself. I know that's always hard for women, but sometimes it makes you feel good. So measure yourself and look at the size chart on there. But again, I always tell people, if we know the brand and we know that it's, like for Judy Blue, I use that because that is a huge brand that we use. And it's a renowned, popular brand. For Judy Blues, you can go down 2 sizes. Everybody loves that because it makes them feel extra small. So, we always try to put that on there, size down 2 sizes. If we know that brand very well, we put our words in there too. But again, we also provide size charts for all of our vendors so that you can kind of see how you range in those size charts.
Okay. Well, so obviously I see that you're wearing a shirt with another name on it.
Yes.
So are you a full-time business owner, or do you do it part-time? What do you do?
I wish that I was full-time, but I am not there yet. I work full-time. I'm also a full-time mother as well. So that makes it very difficult, but right now I'm doing this part-time. I hope to eventually be able to have something that is established and that is, easy to shop and easy for, shoppers to be able to go on and find exactly what they want and need, to be able to keep this around for a while, so that my daughter, who again, she's now 16, but I hope that when she gets to college and, she decides what she wants to do, maybe she comes on and she helps us out too. I hope to be able to pass that down to her and give her that vision. And I hope to eventually be able to be full-time. But, working full-time, starting a business and working full-time is hard. It's just, you got to put a lot of extra time and money into it.
Yeah. And I know from our listener standpoint, many of our small businesses that we've brought in, they do have another job because it takes a little while. And it sounds like you guys kind of started over, really, in a way,
We did.
if you went from a brick and mortar to an online.
Yeah, going online from brick and mortar has been almost like resetting. It's a new vision. You're reaching new people. You're learning how to market, very differently. So that has been difficult. But again, I think that now more and more people are going to the online shopping. There's not a whole, I mean, nowadays your mortgage and or your rental space is so expensive that unless you have a very big business that you've had going for a long time and you're making all this extra money, it's hard to be able to keep up expenses and have a brick and mortar. So again, I hope one day we can, but right now I think that online is just a better option for us right now.
Okay. And you did mention you were in Rock Hill and now you're in Greenville, so
Correct.
you're relaunching in another area, but you
Correct.
were also in Greenville, right?
Yes, we did online Facebook shopping, so to speak. So we were hitting some of the Greenville market as well as the Rock Hill market, and we still want to keep people in Rock Hill. We don't want to lose our customers. They've been so faithful to us. But we do hope to be able to be a very well-known online marketing company, very known company here in the area for boutiques, for women who want to be able to shop and be able to shop cheap.
Yeah, and you use the word that your prices are less.
Yes.
Does that mean you're selling lesser known
No.
clothes, lesser quality?
Because we don't have brick and mortar and we don't have all those extra expenses, being online has allowed us to be able to take prices that normally would be higher. We don't have that extra overhead that we have to cover. So we're able to take those and buy them at a cheaper price, but we don't have to mark them up as much for us to be able to make profit. So that's the great thing about being online, and that's the great thing about not having any overhead that we don't have. We've been very blessed and very lucky that we don't have that overhead. So we're able to keep those prices low for our sellers.
So if I go into a brick and mortar here in the Greenville store, and you mentioned Judy Blues was a real
Correct.
popular boutique brand for jeans. So if I go into one of the local boutiques here and then I go on and shop your site, am I going to find some of those same name brands?
You will. You will find these same name brands in some of these stores that you see here locally on our website. Some more than others. It just depends on, what they have available to us. But, you can get all of those that you can get on site. And I recommend if you see something, I don't want to take business from other companies, but if you see something, I like to shop around and I do my best bargain. So shop around, check us out before you make your final purchase and see what you got, because a lot of times we can do it a lot cheaper than some of these other ones who have brick and mortar. So you can get a better deal from us.
Oh, that's great. Now, what about the shipping? Because obviously they're buying from you. Are things being shipped out of Greenville or Rock Hill? How does that work?
We are shipping from local vendors, or I say they're not local vendors. We are shipping from several different vendors, and they ship directly to you. So again, we don't have that overhead of having to store something, which is great because we're not having to buy in bulk. So we're able to buy individually versus bulk, which makes your prices lower. So they ship directly from our vendors' warehouses.
Wow, it seems like you guys have really kind of figured out how to really, truly save money for our shoppers who are out there.
Yeah, and that's our goal. We want listen, it's hard to be a woman in today's society. There's so many things that make women feel like we are less. And we don't feel beauty because we see beauty in so many different ways. And I want all of our viewers to be able to go on these sites and see something and say, I think I can put that on and I can rock it. And I want them to be able to do that without having to spend an arm and a leg to do that. Because when you put something on and you feel good about yourself, you carry yourself differently. And, women need that. We need to empower each other, and we need to be able to do it without spending thousands of dollars.
Well, I was excited to hear that you do plus sizes, because I will tell you, I have friends who are in that plus size category, and I think there are several plus size clothing stores that have closed.
Yes.
And, they say two things to me. One, I have a hard time finding clothes my size, but the second one is I have a hard time finding stylish, feminine type clothes for my size.
Yes. And a lot of our stuff is this, like, we'll be able to get in both the regular sizes and the plus sizes. So, if you like it in the regular size, you can get it. If you like it in the plus size, you can get it. And I love that. A lot of our vendors are showing the same options. And so, I do think that the plus size clothing line has come a long way.
Wow.
I really do believe that they've come a long way, and their style is just amazing right now.
So if I want to take a family portrait, I could come to you and maybe, me and my sister and my sister-in-law, we're all different sizes. We could
Yes.
probably get the same style so that we could match in our family photo.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I love that, Cristi. Well, tell me, you kind of talked to me a little bit about your customers. Tell me what makes you unique and different from all these other stores. You mentioned price, but is there anything else that really sets you apart?
I think the thing that sets us apart, number one, is our prices. Like I said, I think that not having that overhead and being able to set our prices lower. But I also think that we truly care about our people. We have a lot of shoppers that come to us that only want to shop USA. That's a really big thing right now. But we also know that shopping only USA products is very pricey. So we have an option on our website that is solely for USA vendors. So it's made in the USA. It's thought of in the USA. And then we have, obviously some of our vendors can't do that, and it is a little bit cheaper. So we have that option. And if you go to our website, you can see that it's clearly distinct. It's separated. You can go in. If you only want to shop those USA products, that's great. Go into our USA site, and they're not very limited. You still have tons of selections. It's still for plus and regular size.
Oh, great.
And then you have the other option if you want to stay on the little cheaper side. So I think that sets us apart from a lot of people, because USA is important to a lot of people. And then to some others, it doesn't matter. But we give the option for that if they want it.
Why'd you decide to do that? I mean, I know you said some shoppers want USA, but, why have those two different sections of your site?
I think because we've had so many people ask us and tell us that they will only shop USA. And, when we started looking at some of these vendors, we started noticing that there were a lot of vendors that were only USA. But when we started looking at some of these other boutiques, they don't differentiate between the two. Or if they do, there's not a huge, variety between the two. So you don't know that there's that separation. And I think that was important to us, because we wanted to make sure that we were letting those that really wanted it know that we were making an effort to show them that you've got your options with us.
I think that's great, because I do hear a lot of my friends who say, I'm only going to buy USA stuff. So that kind of gives them that option.
And I think after coronavirus, it really, after the coronavirus hit, it was really imperative, I think, to a lot of us Americans to make sure that they only shopped American brand stuff, which I think is great. But like I said, I think that a lot of boutiques just don't separate that. And that was something we really wanted to make sure that we stood out for.
Do you think you struggle with the large box stores like your Belks, your Targets, Kmart, Walmart? There's not even a Kmart. Walmart. Do you compete with those stores, or are you really competing with other smaller boutiques?
I think we more compete with some of these smaller boutiques. I do think some of the chain brands, Belks and that type of stuff, I do think that you are seeing they're still getting some stuff in that are higher brand boutique type style clothes, but they're not true boutique clothing. So I think we can't really compare ourselves to them. So I think we do struggle more with the local boutiques that they can go into.
So if you were to look at the 4 or 5 years that you guys have been in business, what would you say was an obstacle that you had that you actually was able to overcome?
I always hate when people ask me this question. I think our biggest obstacle was going from brick and mortar to full-time online.
Do you feel like you've overcome that?
I think we have in our own way. I think that being able to really stick true to who we are and not changing just because we're having to go online. Meeting the demands and the requirements that people want and need for a boutique are hard, but being able to do that when you're solely online is really hard. But I do think that we're overcoming that, so it's still a work in progress. I don't think you ever really overcome those obstacles like that. I think you're constantly a work in progress, or at least when you're in business like that. But I do think that we're overcoming it. Absolutely.
So if someone were to come to you, and this is the part of our podcast where I really like to encourage our listeners, someone may be listening to us today and they're saying, I think I want to start a women's clothing boutique, or I just want to start my own business. Yeah. What advice would you give them?
Follow your heart. I think that starting a business is always scary. Going into this was always what if, but you only live once. Do your research, make sure that you know your market that you want to hit, make sure that you are, if you want to hit, for us, we knew we wanted to hit women and we wanted to be able to do it at a lower price. So it wasn't just going in and open a boutique. It was, we want to open a boutique and we want to make sure that we're able to make them feel good at a lower price. So how do we do that? Doing our research, making sure that, we're up to date on everything. So do your research, but if it's something that your heart's telling you to do it now.
I think that's great advice. Well, talk to me a little bit, another question that I like to ask our guest is, you guys went from brick and mortar to online, and you said that was a real struggle for you.
Right.
So it looks like you guys persevered. You did that at the beginning of the year. So what about someone who's listening to us today who says, I've had a business, I've been in business 4 or 5 years, I'm not making any money, I'm feeling like it's irrelevant, I just want to quit. What would you say to those folks?
The first thing I always ask myself, because there's days that I want to quit too. I think in any business, look, again, I work a full-time job and there's days I want to quit. But I think in anything, you always have to ask yourself, does it make you happy? Is this something that is fulfilling your soul? And, if it's something that you truly love and it's something that is fulfilling you, then don't let your fear of not being able to persevere hold you back. Go out there and find resources that help you. Find podcasts where you can go on and be in the front and center. Find ways, be creative, talk to people. I just feel like sometimes throwing in the towel feels right, but it's not always right. So make sure that you have done everything in your power to make sure that you fulfilled your dream before you quit, because quitting to me is never an option.
Well, that's wonderful. So don't quit, listeners. Don't quit.
That's right.
So obviously you've had ups, you've had down, you've had highs, you've had lows. What would you say has been your most favorite part of being your own business owner, owning your own business? What's your favorite part?
Honestly, and it sounds cheesy when I say it, but being able to talk to our customers and knowing that I've made them feel good in their clothes is such a benefit to me. Being able to know that these women who can't necessarily afford $70, $80 clothes and can get it for, half the price, a third of the price, and feel good, to me is amazing. On the other end of the spectrum, though, what woman doesn't like to shop? I love being able to go in and seeing the new styles that are coming out. I love being able to go in and try to imagine how I can piece this together with this. And, I think that is so fun and it's so exciting. And again, it fills my soul. So that's why I continue to do it.
Well, and I think that's a good point. When you're starting a business, when you're starting a business that you love, it sounds like 4 or 5 years later, you still love your business.
I do.
You still love doing what your business accomplishes. So, that's pretty awesome. So don't quit and keep doing what you like.
That's right.
All right. So I have a surprise question. I asked this of all of my guests. And so the surprise question is this. If you could have a superpower, only one, what would it be and why?
Well, I think about, when I had kids and they were younger, I always thought about, what do you want to be? What's your superpower? Sometimes I think being invisible would be really cool, but then I'd probably hear and see things that I probably don't want to hear, although I think I want to. But I think being able to fly, being able to be somewhere without having to drive, without having to get in a plane and fly, being able to fly very quickly. I think I love being in nature and seeing God's work, and I think that would be amazing just to be on top of it. So
on Interstate 85, flying would be pretty cool.
Just going from 85 in general. Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. There's a lot of traffic on Interstate 85 here in the Greenville area.
Yes.
So tell everybody, Cristi, I love everything you've told me today. Thank you so much again for coming and sharing about your business. But tell our viewers, how do they reach you? If they want to shop your store,
yes.
You're not a brick and mortar, so they can't drive to it. So how do they find you?
Go to www.sweetsoutherngals.com. Again, you can go and shop USA made. You can go and you can shop from all over the world, but you can any shape, size, color, any style, you've got it. So please shop us. There's shoes, there's jewelry, there's clothes, you name it, we've got it.